The year is 1944, and the US Army has been actively engaged in the Italian theatre for roughly 6 months. The armed forces have crawled their way northwards from an original foothold on the outskirts of Naples, Mussolini's regime sure to break. Italy's ally, Japan, was having its Pacific islands seized or bypassed by Allied forces through strategic bombing and amphibious landing. Kyoto, the old capital of Japan, was home to some of Japan's greatest art and treasures. Fear that this great beauty and historic culture may be destroyed was a feeling that rang true back home in the old capital of Italy, Florence. Kyoto was considered to be a target for one of the atomic bombs, but the US Secretary of War removed it from that list as he had previously visited for his honeymoon and found the city to be so beautiful that no atomic bomb should remove it from the face of this earth. A similar process took place in Florence, with the US producing custom Shinny maps for its pilots. These maps highlighted artistic landmarks and were not to be damaged under any circumstance. One pilot is recorded saying, "Sure got a lot of things we can't hit." In such radical times, the far left and far right of both nations had a lot of influence, forcing the central parties to unite under one government. This coalition was forged by necessity rather than mutual political ideology, leading to one-party dominant regimes in both Italy and Japan. The year is 1946. Italian Christian Democratic Party, composing of both central-right and central-left political factions, have won the election, with its Japanese political twin, the Liberal Democratic Party, getting a foothold in Japanese politics. Both parties are political giants for the next 40 and 50 years. But even giants can be defeated. Cracks started to form in the Italian system as the Christian Democratic Party in 1954 started to separate themselves from the Catholic Church. This step away from the Vatican led to the Prime Minister lasting 23 days in government, and the loss of support from the Church itself. As a lot of the members of the Christian Democracy Party were large landowners in the south of Italy and would use this system of promises to make themselves richer. This led to a slow party reshuffle over the early days of post-war politics, and the Christian Democracy Party losing support from both the Church and now the South. It's the early 1980s. The largest world recession since World War II hits the budgets of both the Italian Christian Democracy Party and the Japanese Liberal Democratic Party simultaneously. This leads to the Japanese blaming individuals and removing them from the party before stabilizing again under new party leadership. However, in Italy, this loss of funds meant they were unable to fulfill promises in the north of Italy, where they had the most support, and in return had now lost their northern voters, their southern voters, and the church. 1982. The Christian Democracy Party lost its first election since World War II, leading to the Italian Republic Party ruling for 521 days before the Christian Democracy Party retakes the voters and rules for a further 8 years. We are now in the early 1990s, and both the people of Japan and Italy are demanding cracking down on corruption, economic mismanagement, and political stagnation. This political unrest leads to the first loss of the Japanese Liberal Democratic Party since its conception in the 1950s, leading to 3 separate political parties winning elections between 1993 and 1996, before the Japanese Liberal Democratic Party returns to parliament. Japan today is still led by the same party since the end of World War II, surviving on relationships between the governing parties and the citizens, allowing for a dominant one-party democracy that is flexible enough to remove unpopular politicians without hurting the reputation of the party itself. In contrast, Italy, since the fall of the one-party system, has found itself in a constant battle of independent parties, forming coalitions to win elections, rather than coalitions who share political ideologies.